Welcome back, everyone, to the Overwatch League playoffs here. Golden Boy, and of course, this is going to be a good day because we already saw an incredible matchup to kick things off. Good news is we have 3 more matches to go, and this matchup is going to be an interesting one because we have the Houston Outlaws taking on the Seoul Infernal. Infernal looking a little weak. Analyst that's picking 3-0 across the board. Let's go ahead and see what the peanut gallery thinks, shall we? What do y'all think? Infernal? Infernal? Yes? No? Maybe so? We know you're all about the Infernal right here. Okay, how about the Houston Outlaws? Ay, santísimo Dios mío. Okay, let's try that again. Seoul Infernal. She was I love that energy. All right, Houston Outlaws. Seoul Infernal. Houston Outlaws. Well, I think people in Toronto might like themselves some ante up here. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll see what ends up happening. But of course, as we get ready for this matchup, one has to wonder whether or not the Seoul Infernal can climb back into this competition. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out your teams in just a little bit. But for now, though, we're going to send it back over to Zoe, give the players a little bit more time to get themselves ready to go.
Thank you so much, GB. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. London Spitfire, they just did an absolute Cinderella story. Seoul Infernal. Obviously, they're looking to actually repeat that as well and show everyone that maybe day one was just an off day, you know, because there is a big difference playing in front of a crowd. Playing in front of a live crowd can be an absolute game changer. Some of the teams, they really benefit from it. Other teams, they crumble under the pressure.
I gotta say, so far at this tournament, the teams that the crowd has been cheering for have been looking good, and that effect is real. Get out there in front of the crowd, and they give you your energy. You can go to that next level, and I think Houston can very much capitalize on the support.
All right, and now it's time to welcome your first team to the stage, the Houston Outlaws!
The fans are supporting them, and you can see why this team has been fan favorites since their inception, and this is the strongest roster the organization has ever fielded, looking to do even better than last year, top that third place finish, and win it all here. I'm really excited to see what the guys have in store, especially seeing Bernard come into the lineup, a new look for them here on day 2.
Good looking guys.
And their opponents, the Seoul Infernal!
Seoul Infernal, formerly the Philadelphia Fusion, once again field a very competitive roster here in the Overwatch League playoffs. This year with 4 Role Star members of their team. What is man going to play in this one? It's going to be the Wrecking Ball, the Winston, the Doomfist, the Reinhardt perhaps from the Seoul Infernal. We don't know what to expect from this team, but it's going to be competitive.
And now it's time to jump into the action and send it over to your casters. You have Uber and Mr. X on the call.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. It's a pleasure to be back presiding over this, our second elimination match of the day. Again, 2 teams struggling to maintain a foothold. We're a little bit surprised to find the Outlaws in this position. It's a legendary roster, one with sky-high expectations in the West. And the Seoul Infernal, of course, having such a great summer stage here, they need to shape up.
I mean, you put the Outlaws up there with the Atlanta Reign, which probably Outlaws fans don't want to hear that right now, considering how the Atlanta Reign went out. I think the more interesting thing is that we are going to get a look at Bernard here in game number 1 in the series. You know, we saw a lot of Doomfist obviously yesterday from Fearless. What do you see them do with Bernard? He's coming in on Ilios, which if you're like, hey, Diva, Zarya, like not the best map, potentially. Maybe we see some Doom and then some other tanks in the mix. I'm curious.
Stage dependent, man.
It's also like, look, I get you want to, have the best roster you can for, this moment, right? And adding players late, if you're able to do so, fantastic. But you got to this point, like with a roster, to kind of throw something in last minute is always so risky. And then I also think you you play into the other team. You bring in Bernard, it doesn't go well. You're bringing in Fearless. You had a strong message in the Seoul Infernal camp of like, hey, they got no idea what the hell they're doing over there. And then you start to mount a series like we just saw. So you got to be pretty confident this is going to go right if you're the Outlaws.
I had to bring back the biased Philly caster from yesteryear to cover this one. Big Big fan of that. The Houston Outlaws and the Seoul Infernal have burnt through their buffer, their extra chance. This is it.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to find yourself here in a. No, you're not even
On
winning.
day 2.
Winning in. You're right. You're win and then have to win again to be in.
Here we go, everybody. Our second elimination match starts right now. Benar on the D.Va here, something we talked about a little bit, right? Seen this from a few teams in the past. Benar, obviously, you know, they're quote-unquote off-tank specialist, finishing his season with the Hangzhou Spark in 2022.
And what, I mean, D.Va here with an, I mean, this interesting style of play here as for the Seoul Infernal, I know you'll have Zest on the Echo up there on the high ground.
Happy rest here. They're dealing with the Winston from Mag, who's going to make the switch over to Doom here, realizing Winston maybe just not favored in that head-to-head. Zest not able to get the Hell Pack, trying to slip away, but Pelican is a little too canny for that. Mag upstairs here, but he's going to have to power block pretty darn quickly and drop to the low ground. It's a Dynamite over the top, and Seoul Infernal already under the gun.
Yeah, I mean, MN3 did all he could trying to contest the point there, but got backed up a little bit. I mean, dude, the damage boost with whether it's the Ashe or the Echo is so strong here. Violet will pilot the Mercy.
Not an auspicious start here for the Seoul Infernal. A very awkward attempt to take the high ground with a Winston comp. They switched out of it, but they've been staggered ever since that point. Already a 20% lead for Houston.
Yeah, and I mean, the D.Va will obviously use that defense matrix to peel for, really, it's the Ashe in this type of situation, as well as the Baptiste. And then, you know, once kind of everybody's all topped up, can go in and be a little bit of an offensive firepower.
Pelican with that duplicate up, Shu. Ant Matrix in the back pocket. What a legendary pick for a legendary player. Trying to help Benar upstairs. A little bit too slow. He's going to be desuited at the start of the fight, and the pressure's already going to be on Shu. Sticky Bombs is going to have to be an immortality field to keep him standing. He is able to slip away. Benar is desuited right now, so Pelican steps up and takes over tank duties with that duplicate. Still playing pretty carefully here. Wants to stall, I think, and that's going to be Shu taken down by Mag. The Ant Matrix not lending too much to the Outlaws. It's going to be a Valkyrie here for Violets. Can he bring Shu back? Yes, Baptiste is back on the scene. Here comes the Bob.
Yeah, you don't have a tank though, so Bernard is just coming up the spot now, but it may not matter. As the Bob gets on, he'll contest. Happy, one of the more prolific hit scan players we've had in the history of the Overwatch League. Able to pick off one after that. Yeah, I mean, hey, these are like comfort picks for the Outlaws, right?
Tell that to Violet. Living the dream on the Mercy right now, and a key res to get Shu back into the fight previously. That bought the time for Benar to rejoin, especially alongside the Bob. But Happy's going to switch to the Tracer. He wants to try and match MN3, who's got taken very low in that last engagement. Violet had laser limb reassignment by Zest's focusing beam here. And the Seoul eventually leaning into the point.
Yeah, but the Outlaws, you know, one good fight away from taking the first point here. And now Violet will actually go over and play the Brig. So I think this is like, you don't have the Ashe in the mix, right? You get like insane value out of the damage boost with two characters, right? You know, having the Ashe and the Echo. This, you know, now the Tracer can, you know, get some help here from Violet on the Brig, one of the best Brigs of really all time.
MN3, that's dangerous, taking that many stickies. Benar pushing back at him. Pelican looks low. MN3 sees an opportunity, but it's going to force a duplicate out of Pelican. Two Traces on the field for the Outlaws. That's a heck of a lot of pressure. MN3 removed there by the rocket boosters, and Skewed is also suffering. Junjay tries to step ahead of him with the shield, and Pelican gets a free pulse bomb. Both supports proving tough enough to crack here, but now attention turns in Mag's direction. He gets hit with the stickies. He doesn't have power block available, and he's run down. The Outlaws flip the point in their favor, and it's just overtime to contend with.
Yeah, and I mean, you see what D.Va can provide, right? The defense matrix, then the ability to close the distance, finish players off, as this just seems like a matter of time before the Outlaws take this first point.
What a way to make your debut for the Outlaws. Benar with a resuit kill on a Tracer, no less. That's insult and injury.
Bernard looks like he's been playing with this team for years.
Homie be straight been chillin'.
Yeah, I mean, you know, typically you say, I mean, look, who we talked about with Hawk, right? Bringing him in is a very difficult situation, right? For the Atlanta Reign,
yes.
They always put him in an odd situation. How about this? You know, get signed recently and also just show up here and play for Fearless, right?
Get out!
That is sick stuff.
He'll take credit for that though, still.
Yeah.
What? No.
So we talked about this a little bit earlier in the green room, and I was wondering if we see some of the Sigma. I think if you were obviously looking at Fearless and Bernard,
Okay.
Bernard would have the stronger Sigma of the two.
Not only Sigma, but the Zenyatta here for Violet. A pick we've seen from the Outlaws at certain times this year against slow comps.
They do this on Circuit. When the Outlaws play Circuit, they would play Sigma with the Zen in the mix. So we've seen them do this before.
Very different map though. Not a lot of teams trying to play Sigma here. Mag has to be careful of that Discord orb. Look at how quickly that health bar drops. Zest has found Bernard though, so clearly a little bit hard for Bernard to navigate out of this center of the fight. It's happy with a headshot on the Tracer.
Yeah, I think you're just going to wait here for the Outlaws. Let Bernard get back into the fight and see if you can maybe find another pick. Oh, I mean, that's a lot of pressure on the Violet.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go there very quickly. Mag accosted him inside that small room. Skewed on the Iliari here. Getting Mag back up to full health. MN3 has got to be careful. Going to be outmatched at range against Happy.
The Iliari is an interesting pick, especially with a Wrecking Ball in the mix, right? I think
Oh,
it's really
there it is.
about just having that turret set up for your Ashe and the Wrecking Ball and the Tracer to work back towards, right? And then also the damage output of the Iliari.
Skewed. Killing Pylon taken down now. Happy trying to keep tabs on Mag's position here. Pelican more than happy to keep harassing. I think he spotted Zest there briefly. He's pinged it out. He knows something is afoot, or underfoot as it may have been. MN3 switches over to the Widowmaker here, wants to match Happy at range.
Where Bernard is playing from, though. I mean, how do you get him out of there?
And there it is! Okay, Shu taken down, trying to go to the high ground. MN3 quickly tries to duck his hitbox. Stuck! Easy kill for Pelican now. Mag might be a little bit bogged down inside this small room here, but Pelican needs to watch his health pool. Mag should be able to get away. Topped up by Skewed, who does have Captive Sun online.
Yeah, right after that first death, they actually have Violet switch and play the Brig. It's just a bit of a safer setup. You're going to be able to protect Shu a little bit better as Happy trying to line a headshot up. As doesn't miss those quite often.
He's got to be aware of MN3. Here comes the Captive Sun. Skewed, oh, to the high ground. Happy. Blown to smithereens by that one. So now you have a Widow advantage plus the stick. Zest keeps it spicy for us now as he descends to the point to go to work on Bernard. 58%, a little more, and the Outlaws lose control.
And you wonder, Sigma comps, Sigma is very difficult to dislodge out of positions. He can survive for quite a long time on his own. You favor Sigma against things like the Reinhardt, probably even like Winston, right? Against the ball, it's quite interesting. There's lots of displacement. The ball doesn't really care for the Sigma. Let the Sigma play on the island, chase down everybody else, and then, Bernard's the last one standing.
Pile driver there from Mag was pretty good shoot. Looks like he was popped up and was made an easy target for Skewed. Hyunjae, pretty safe from this spot, able to keep Zest and Mag well and truly hale and hearty. Seoul Infernal have just snuck into the lead here on Ruins.
No ultimates to work with, though. Gravitic Flux, Amp Matrix here available.
Oh, you better believe it. What an angle.
This is also this is where at this point gets scary because you're going Widow versus Widow, right? One Widow is just finding constant picks, giving your team an advantage. And who cares if you have ultimates? There's nothing you really do.
Time's ticking down. The Outlaws need to figure this out and fast. All of them grouped up inside that left side room, and Pelican here forced into a bit of a duel, but Zest doesn't want to stick around. Goes for the Mega instead. Mag under pressure. Gets the Immortality field, but Hyunjae has that removed. Gravitic Flux, no capture there, but it's Happy finding Skew. The Iliari is out of the picture now. Here's the pile driver. Immortality field, not available presently here. The Outlaws don't see the need for it currently anyway. It's Happy taken down. Mag's able to find the Widowmaker now, and Pelican goes into the recall. Who gets this pulse bomb? Mag with a minefield here. This is dangerous stuff for Shu, but he's able to get away somehow. Avoids it. Who's hiding in the bushes? It's Violet. He's going to Suzu himself and get away. But the pile driver connects, and Violet gets brought down eventually. Hyunjae deals with Bernard. Seoul flipping back here, and the Outlaws are in trouble.
Yeah, and who can even get a touch here for the Outlaws? It looks like Happy maybe out of stealth at the final moment.
Instantly, though, he gets turned on. Can the Lucio touch? Shu got knocked up. He won't get there. Pelican arrives, recalls instantly. Happy coming in for that right-hand side, and Bernard switched over towards the Doom. He's so low, and it's nothing but his lifeless corpse that hits the ground on the point. That won't do. Captive Sun up here, but MN3 has arrived.
I mean, dude, we know how sick that MN3 and Zest as a duo are. When look, you put him on the Widowmaker and we're going to have a little bit of a Widowmaker showdown. He starts popping off. What do you do if you're the Outlaws? I'm more curious what the Outlaws play on this map. So this, maybe you were going to play Sigma, play Static on the point. I think they'll probably go back to D.Va.
I think so too. But now making a number of switches here. The Sigma eventually just got exploited by a much more mobile composition. And frankly, Bernard could not protect the rest of his team from the Widow after MN3 made that switch. He came out of the gates on Ashe, instantly realized he needed to be playing Widow.
So we will see them go back to that D.Va-based composition here. So kind of similar there towards point 1. For Seoul Infernal, they'll keep with the ball and the Widow here. So lots of pressure on Pelican.
Yeah, it might just be playing around a potential Widow out of the gates from the Outlaws, but they want none of it. Oh, Pelican didn't know what hit him. Happy's been tracked here, starting to converge upon MN3's location. He's got no way of doing this undetected. Now, free damage on Bernard from that high ground, and MN3 has eyes already trained elsewhere. It's the Tracer. Happy slips through the net, back to safety, but Seoul have a significant advantage early.
Yeah, and Seoul end up taking the point here early on, so that forces them to go right away from the Echo, where, you know, hey, in this type of situation, right, you had Fearless in the game. Fearless loves playing Wrecking Ball and Winston, right? Wouldn't be the worst thing.
Not an option here. Having been denied this high ground purchase by Mag, who just won't be moved. MN3 eventually has to face the Tracer. He goes low, it's going to be a recall though. We need to get up on this high ground, but catches him. Right, now down to business for the Houston Outlaws as they slowly carve each element of Seoul's lineup off them. Scoot will allow that to befall him now as Happy builds a pulse. 25 plays 5.
Yeah, and I think this will obviously be much more difficult for MN3 to like find angles and being able to take headshots where they switch right off of it. So interesting enough, they'll have the Baptiste in the mix versus on the other side an Ana, and then the D.Va versus a Wrecking Ball. Otherwise, we are in a Sombra Tracer dive mirror.
Unreal. Hyunja here, unlikely going to get out of this one alive.
He might.
Tough to kill, I guess. Get the brick backline, really tough. You get so much free healing off a D.Va. Every whip shot is heals. Mag hacked here very low. Zest needs to find a way back in. The Outlaws have really got a significant lead now. It's going to be a nano boost on a Bernard. He's looking for the backline. He's looking for Hyunja, but there is Skewed once more to force him back. Inspire procs are not enough. This man will not be denied. And the backline of the Seoul Infernal is torn limb from limb.
Yeah, the nano is just so huge there. I mean, even like an Immortality field, you would have been with a Tracer there, be able to burn
you
through
can just
that.
stick around.
Yeah, and stick around, right? Just be sturdy. That's where I think, like, if you're Seoul, right, like, what value are you getting out of that Baptiste? Like, the Immortality field is really about it. Like, Amp Matrix here with this type of setup isn't contributing a lot.
It's hard to heal Mag, although he's pretty self-sufficient when it comes to the mobility to get him the health packs he needs. We have EMPs online for both teams here. Eventually, Seoul has to make the gambit. It's going to be Hyunja from the high ground here with the Amp Matrix. Has to throw an Immortality field down instantly. He would have loved to have used that on his tanks in the fight, but instead it's forced. Skewed finds Pelican though. He never had a chance to EMP. Perhaps he was just holding on to it. Either way, the Infernal are forced to part with their ultimates in order to get back into the game.
Oh, I mean, that was clean there from Zest. And I think there, you see the power of the ball comps, right? Where some damage comes in there from Zest, is that'll be the Outlaws getting to 98. Some damage comes in, Mag with a pile driver there over the top on the shoe, and there's nothing he can do. Where Bernard has a little bit more defensive capabilities, right? A little bit more potential to peel defense matrix to the back line, then go in. It's really all in on offense here for the Infernal.
The Outlaws just need one good fight, and Pelican has an inkling of how it might start. Hyunja spotted there. Pelican wants a bit of that Baptiste, and he'll have it! To the high ground he goes. There's a sense that Bernard maybe knew where the Sombra was headed, but he couldn't do anything about it. Now to the point, Skewed, riddled with bullets. Mag trying to trade back here, but it's going to be a rally and play for Violet. Now his shield bashes out of the way. Mag must get out. And the Infernal have to regroup here, man. But Zest, flattened by the micro rockets.
It is a point flip, but you have Mag still in the mix. Oh, you lose.
For how much longer, Matt?
Yeah, it looks like you do have MN3 coming off a spawn, but this is not going to last for long.
Houston Outlaws here may see Skewed attempt to contest, but no chance. He would have jumped to MN3 if he wasn't already dead and buried.
It is a very close competitive map number 1.
Extremely scrappy.
Extremely scrappy, but I think though if these teams both want to play these aggressive play styles, I think you're going to see this play out over the long haul of this series. I don't think you can play Widow on every map. You're not going to get like the opportunity for MN3 to, just kind of like Widow did happy on, many points and many maps. But I think both of these teams want to play fast, want to play aggressive.
Seoul Infernal, incredibly mechanically intense team. Mad when he entered the league, hailed as an absolute god on tank, and they'll show us the wrecking ball prowess here. MN3 and Zest, no matter what pick it is, pretty frightening. But Houston Outlaws bring Benar in, show off this new acquisition to great effect.
I thought he was really strong on the D.Va. I think the Sigma will definitely, see that as, if their tournament lives continue, right, and they move on, whether it's in this series or in another one. I think you will see that Sigma come into play as see now Florida has used that hero. But against this ball comp, specifically on Ilios, it was not working.
We saw it all. We saw basically the Sombra Tracer dive as we headed into the later part here of Lighthouse. MN3 starting on the Widow. Beautiful shot to start things off, and eventually had to make the switch away. Here it was, and Seoul Infernal just looked to lag a little bit. We knew how good the West was in the Sombra Tracer meta here. Definitely favored Houston.
I also would say that not having the Ana, playing the BAP there, maybe it's because you don't have the peel of the D.Va with the defense matrix, so you have that immortality field for yourself, but still, it didn't really feel like it provided as much as the Ana. So the next map will be Blizzard World. I would expect Bernard to stay in here because Blizzard World, you can play D.Va, you can play Sigma. So if that's kind of where they want to see him playing and slotting in, I expect Bernard to stay in the game here.
Gotta be earning his money, that much is for sure. Blizzard World is your second map in the series, so stick around as the Outlaws and the Infernal fight for survival.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damn, instead you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damn, instead you gon' pay up.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damn, instead you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Turn it way up, turn it way up.
Crank that volume, turn it way up, way up.
That's right, everybody. It's a good old-fashioned throwdown between storied veterans, Shu, Violet, Happy, Pelican, Fearless, up against the plucky upstarts, your youngsters, MN3, Zest, Mag, Hyunjae. This is quite the matchup where we've seen the Seoul Infernal look to find glory over the last couple of years and have often fallen short. The Outlaws built a super team, no more messing about.
So they do bring Fearless in here for map number 2. So as we go to Blizzard World, curious, how maybe they saw what, Seoul Infernal were running early on and said, hey, guess what? We're going to bring back Fearless to play the Doom, maybe some Winston-based compositions to see how they utilize both of these tanks now.
Utter haymakers being thrown in that first map, Matt. A very chaotic matchup on Ilios between these teams. A lot of hero switches, a lot of pivoting of strategy, and a lot of individual mechanics being put on display. Now things become a little bit more pitched in terms of the battles and where they occur. But then individual mechanics no less crucial on Blizzard World.
And even with the Outlaws finding themselves here, in the losers, I think after the last match, you have a strong conversation with this team of like, hey, the one team we were really concerned that could beat us at the end is gone. We get through this, who cares if we come out of, losers, winners, as long as you make it to the final day. You have some of the most storied players, the best roster, in terms of mechanical talent on paper. You feel pretty good about your chances if you can just get there at this point.
I mean, you're smarting, wearing the boot print that the Mayhem left on you after yesterday, a team you've really matched up against very competitively over the whole year. I think a 3-1 has to be a disappointing result for the Outlaws against as good a team as they are. They have to have hoped for more.
Well, you got to bank on. I mean, the talk has to be look, Atlanta's gone. Does anyone in this room believe Florida can beat us twice in a weekend? No? Okay, good. Let's get there and have that rematch. I mean,
maybe you should poll the crowd for that one. Here we go, Blizzard World is underway.
I'll have Jake do it. He'll just shout Outlaws and everybody go crazy.
Having a look there.
I love Danny's analysis as well. Those are some good-looking guys. Those are good-looking guys.
Right,
I thought we were on
there with, that's a fantastic
I thought
answer.
we were on camera, and then I looked and I saw it was the Outlaws, like I said.
God, help me. The Winston for Fearless here. Up against the Wrecking Ball. Already Fearless hoping to try and find a way, or at least divine his route of approach. Being knocked around constantly by Mag, who's just waiting to again disrupt the Outlaws as they set up. Oh, okay.
I feel like, how wild is it from the series we just casted, right? Reinhardt-based compositions, Atlanta trying every tank in the book, and here we go with some Winston-based Tracer Sombra Dive and some Wrecking Ball on the other side. I mean, the meta has been completely wide open to this point. I think nobody has really figured it out.
Probably the most varied we've ever seen, especially in a playoff meta. And look, such a legendary pick, the Ashe for MN3, I feel. There's so many moments from it. Oh, he's not getting away from that one. What a bio-nade connection from Shu. Fearless here, ready to approach further. Now that long-range threat is off the table. It's a matter of dealing with his backline. Skew just throwing out these shots at Fearless, but he will occupy the choke for now.
Yes, that's the immortality field out. You see how low those players are on Seoul Infernal.
Tick that box.
Yep. Just keep diving in. Nice biotic grenades from Shu, forces them back. There'll be Zest on the point just to contest.
Well, Violet's able to shield back away from that one. That was a crucial stick. It had to be there.
Happy with both supports.
Running rough shot over the backline of the Seoul Infernal is Happy. Shu is fine here. Oh, no chance of Bionade. He had no idea where that damage was coming from. MN3 caught him as he got popped up by the pile driver. And that'll be a point take for the Outlaws.
Oh, but I mean, if you're an Outlaws fan or, any of the coaching staff, and you say, hey, guess what? You guys can play, Winston, Tracer, Sombra all weekend with Shu and Violet on the brig. I mean, you take that every single day. I mean, this is they're almost ideal comp, right? In terms of what you would want these players on. Maybe you would want Pelican on the Echo or something like that, right? But everybody else on these heroes that they piloted for years at like top of the league level.
Pelican's hoping to catch the healing pylon in an EMP potentially. It might be tough to do if he wants MN3. It seems like the target.
I think they're maybe like waiting for a dive to come in and like maybe the coach guns out and they set up a good setup as...
Pelican staying around, he stayed around! And he worked MN3 down, great dive timing there, no EMP required. The Outlaws are doing this for cheap. Thrifty as you like now, he on down to pressure. Fearless will be able to get back to safety here. Has to be wary of the minefield though, laid in his absence. Bubble up. He's topped up now. Captive Sun going to be thrown. Skewed hoping for some splash and he gets it. But it's going to be a rally.
Nice rally,
from
yeah.
Violent. The hack on Skewed now brought straight to the ground. Otherwise he would have been airborne the entire time.
He's in a bad spot. I mean, he uses that Captive Sun, gets up in the sky, and probably expects some kills. That's an immortality field. That's really nice from UJ, keeping them alive.
Pulse is looking dangerous there as well. Happy opts to hold on to for the time being. It's going to be MN3 down. Zest found Violent, though no supports up for the Outlaws here. Save your ultimates if you can, if you're Soul. The Pulse not required, most likely.
It looks like maybe Soul's able to just stop this for a period of time. I mean, you still have the supports here up on the high ground. It'll stop everything going on. You still have this EMP as well. As Pelican's gotten good value of just like hacking a target, right? And then, you know, just being able to take that character out instead of having to burst that EMP. With Happy now on the Sojourn, I wonder if we're going to see a swap after this EMP, though.
MN3 suffering the brunt of the damage here. He is 4 of the Seoul Infernal 7 deaths right now. That's where the focus is. Skewed is such a nuisance there with that damage from the high ground. The Pulse just evaded. Fearless, though, very quickly at a scramble of safety. 2:27 to play.
Like, if you are the Outlaws here, right, and you get this good use of this EMP, maybe you think about even playing like a Genji after, right? Sojourn Genji with the Winston in the mix.
Kanjay, gonna be bypassed by Pelican. No immortality field available. He caught the Baptiste in that. That's a great result, but there might need to be more here. A lot of damage still coming in from the high ground from the Seoul Infernal, and Fearless is looking to pick his spot. Upstairs we go. Hunjay already jumping away, but Pelican caught him on the way down. Happy now able to assume the high ground and the pressure is on.
I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, what? There are 9 total deaths here for the Seoul Infernal, and MN3 is 5 of them. I mean, they are just diving right on top of him, but now he's going to go to the Sojourn. Gives him a little bit more like damage up front, able to get away a little bit easier with the dash.
The most survivable of your hit scan options,
yeah.
But obviously has some weaknesses, doesn't have that dynamite effect, no bomb for stall. Gonna have to make it work anyway, make it 6. MN3 can't slide away from the pressure of Fearless. He sticks to him like moss. Hunjay will be able to get away. Fearless doesn't care. He just wants to buy space. That's 2 checkpoints now for Houston. Just shy of 3 minutes to work with.
And what do you think about the Alari Baptiste backline with like a ball in the mix? It seems like, you know, obviously you're completely offensive in terms of, you know, firepower, right? No support ultimate like a rally, sound barrier, anything like that. It feels like you're all in, and if you're not getting significant damage out of these supports, it feels like you are at a loss.
You really have to put Skewed in a position to succeed, but that puts him at grave danger up against this composition. The Sombra's so threatening.
Also, the only one they can directly keep alive outside, you know, if Zest and Mag work their way back to the team, sure, but is MN3, and they're just diving MN3 constantly and just bursting him down. You're not even able to really do that, yeah.
Also, Pelican picks his spots when Skewed tends to veer away from MN3's position. Still on the Ash, by the way.
Yeah, maybe went to the Sojourn just try and make it back, and then went back to the Ash. There's some high ground here, though. Some nice, like, chokes for the Dynamite, so not
setting
that
up
big.
a minefield here. No good, booped away. Captive Sun connects, and Skewed is going to be able to bring Shu down. He's caught him mid-air. Was that a tase at long range from Fearless? Happy here had that overclock. Checking his 6 constantly here, just in case Zest comes calling, but he's in the front line. Fearless is dragged off his horse.
Yes, he had Primal. I think maybe he was trying to get that one off and just mistimed it there, so not having that ultimate there to keep Fearless in the fights. Huge. You still have gotten a ton of payload progress. 1 minute and 28, you know, plus was on the clock there. So you'll come back. Wait, you have a nano for Fearless here, then into the Primal with an EMP. You're set up in a really good spot to finish the map with some time.
Fearless is 6-3 right now. He is getting value on this Winston. He will get nattered in the EMP follow-up. How do you get out of this one? Immortality Field hastily going to be deployed. That's enough time for the Infernal's backline to get to safety. But now there's no one left to heal. Now they huddle together for wards inside the spawn. And Fearless goes for the Primal Rage. Can Mag intervene on this card's inexorable progress? He'll wrap around and have a chance to stall it here. Zest is low, Shu taken down. Skew was able to find him with the Amp Matrix in play now. One more shot would deal with Violet, and eventually Zest finishes the job. Comes in with the melee. Immortality Field getting value there as well as Skewed is able to peel his assailants off.
Yeah, really nice use of the Amp Matrix there, where they actually put it like in that choke sideways. And MN3 was on the backside of the choke and the other pillar, and he was able to shoot all the way through it. And Fearless is actually trying to primal him like back towards where the Amp Matrix was, but into like the spawn side, so like out of the line of sight.
Sombra, this is the counter Fearless here.
Yeah.
MN3 switches to it, and immediately Fearless is like, hey, hang on. I wasn't expecting this at all. He wants to try and push this card up, of course, but that healing pylon is going to get to work. Captive Sun, Skewed, fires it off. Pelican hit by it. No detonation just yet, but Happy has fallen. Outburst here, knocking Fearless off, and it looks like the Infernal can shore up this defense here in the final moments. Nothing left to be done with the Outlaws.
They give themselves a clear end to the map for themselves, where I think now they see, hey, if there's going to be Doom on the other side, we're going to play that Sombra, and maybe if they play that Winston again, I think we see them run with like the Ashe. You know, it's going to be a little bit more costly to kind of play this from the defensive side from the Outlaws.
A lot of switches there towards the end of the round. The response by MN3 coming off the Ashe as it was and getting the Sombra just to disrupt Fearless. They read that really effectively. Fearless very dangerous on that Winston for much of the round though, getting a lot of value. Pelican also at 5-0. Getting decent work done as a Sombra, and also just being an extra threat to that backline in any situation in which he can get an Immortality Field for free out of Hunjay. Seems very high value.
The healing numbers are heavily skewed in favor of the Outlaws, but you kind of expect that with the comp that they're playing, right? You know, having the Ana and the Brig in the mix, where if you look for Seoul Infernal, it's actually like quite interesting in that their damage is like pretty even almost across the board. Like everybody is contributing almost like a DPS level damage. So
it's worth pointing out that, you know, Mag also, a lot of his durability comes from that adaptive shielding, and then he goes and picks up health packs. So that's why you have less healing on the Soul side. And Skewed obviously isn't going to have that big healing numbers anyway, much more middling.
No, and on the Baptiste, I mean, who are you? You know, you're healing maybe your other support, right? And you're healing your Ashe in that type of situation, right? So they're more focused on, hey, can we just burn targets down fast? Can we just be a team that is going to see a target, everybody focus fire, and you just have so many high damage output heroes that you're able to pick those. The healing wouldn't even matter at that point.
Pelican is going to have to respect MN3 here in a big way. Already, Shu spending much of his time tending to the Echo. The heal pressure has been immense from this comp, and that's what you expect from a Baptiste Ilaari setup. Oh, there it is, Skewed!
And you just see those shots from Skewed on the side. I mean, it's just another player you have to be scared about if you're Pelican or any of the supports up there on the high ground.
There is nowhere the Pelican can play from that's remotely safe. Skewed also throws the healing pylon forward, hoping maybe to swing around.
He's done that a few times, we've seen it from his POV.
It's interesting. Fearless has to push. He's about 60% HP, but no one. Oh, they just give it up. The Outlaws just let it go.
That was Mag. Mag actually just swung right on through there as some players are walking up. Just displaced a bunch of them from coming through the choke.
I mean, yeah, you win a fight here for the Outlaws, that's fine, but man, you already lost the objective. That is gonna hurt. The Wrecking Ball still getting something done here. Mag heads up. Dynamite here, Happy got caught by that, so heal pressure again at a maximum. And Pelican gets brought down again, another Captive Sun! Shu has got to be scared. Not hit by the debuff though, and Skewed obviously using that flight effectively. Oh, he was, okay, gets the kill. Able to detonate it. Stunned up though as Violet comes forward.
I mean, that's ultimately the issue, right? It's like you see Seoul Infernal, Skewed is able to get a pick off. You know, if Young Jason not there with the Immortality Field or like a Regenerative Burst, like you're gonna lose that Ilaari as soon as a player or two come in.
The Infernal regroup now. The Outlaws have been more than happy to take their pound of flesh at the choke and now play towards this high ground. Primal Rage up for Fearless now. Happy has to slide away. That extra mobility of the Sojourn is absolutely paramount here. Primal pop there by Fearless. To what end, we have to wonder.
Well, just staying alive.
Okay, well, better than nothing. He goes in there, already down to 200 HP, has to play safe. Pelican on the Sombra hasn't quite been able to strike a lethal blow yet, but Skewed is very low. I think Happy gave him a glancing blow with one of those rails. Fearless finishes the job. Zest No way getting out of that one. And there goes MN3. Happy lines him up.
Yeah, as Pelican is just trying to find, like, hacks onto the Tracer, hacks onto the Illari, the ball. I mean, a lot of good targets here for that Sombra now for the Outlaws. As you're really looking at getting those hacks, Fearless following up, and Happy putting down that damage at range. I really also like how the Outlaws are playing close up. Do not let this composition get set up and let players be able to get on the flanks.
That minefield completely shut down, but Scooter's on the scene once more. Hunjay getting involved in the damage fight. Happy trying to head to the skies, but is caught by a railgun from MN3. The shooter comp, as it's been named. Now we know exactly why that's such an apt description. Soul, nasty on the M1.
Yeah, I mean, skewed right now with like 23% of the team's overall damage, with like Zest at 25, like just kind of like teetering back and forth. Where, yeah, you're just kind of playing this. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's just throw out there 4 DPS, and let's see if we can just out damage them.
At least someone's still carrying the torch for that Toronto Defiant composition here.
Yeah.
We got hints of it. Saw just how devastating it could be in the right hands. Pelican here with an EMP needs to slow the bleed as the Infernal are encroaching now deep into Outlaws territory. Oh, that's a stick! Shu would sooner forget. Ana's out of the picture now, and he was so close to having an Ana. That's not an option. So here's the rally. Skew fires off the captive son, but won't be able to survive the onslaught of Fearless. It's back to the high ground now. A commanding view of the situation, but no inclination to engage with the rally in play. It's Fearless down. Violet now trying to assess the situation. He'll back up.
Yeah, and you have to wait here if you're the Seoul Infernal. You just had, I know, Mag and Zest there alive towards the end. As now you're getting everybody off a spawn, but look at this Pelican lurking on the supports.
Still holding that EMP from the last fight. Still 2 minutes to play here, so the Outlaws winning here would be great, but there's more that needs to be done. It's Zest ushering slowly the card forward. Mag in the backline slept here. There might be an opening for Houston. Zest again, testing the payload. Mag's able to get away. Oh my word! Pelican, nothing you do about that one. And Matrix from the high ground, and the shots from MN3 are good. That's another! Happy is down. Only a body shot required there, and now the primal rage Winston comes to collect. Skewed here looking at Violet, wants to push the brig off the cart here, but Fearless is having his way with your team. He'll chase Skewed down now as well. Zest able to find Shu, but that's not going to be enough here. The EMP finally comes out.
Man, I feel
and
like
a sigh of relief from Fearless there. Can't blame the man.
I feel like those are fights you got to win, though. I mean, if you're going to get to the high ground, invest the Amp Matrix, and then MN3 is just going to turn around the corner, just take out 2 players, and then, I mean, what they have to, you had Mag was slept, he got out, right? Like everything was going right there for Seoul Infernal, and they had to invest that Primal and the Nano up to the high ground to get him out of the way. But I feel like if you start off a fight that well, you got to win it.
Mag's starting to realize he needs just a little bit more than this disruption, this discord he's been sowing. Hasn't converted into solid, consistent team fight wins for the Infernal, and they're running out of gas.
Well, this allows Mag to play a little bit more static on the objective, right? Not like they don't really need him kind of rolling around, displacing. They really need him to force fights on the objective, which that allows him to live.
They've got to get there first, though. Look at how slowly the Infernal are approaching this. Mag eventually will get there, yes.
Well, they have no speed, and they also have a few targets who are easily diveable. So as soon as they see that they're split, they're going to attack.
Skewed was out of the fight for a while there. Violet has rallied. Fearless to the high ground now, and Skewed has an opportunity to blow this right over. It's the Capture Sun getting launched here, but the shield instantly thrown up. Where does he fire this? He doesn't know. Happy looks like he's affected by it in the backline, but it has to be an outburst to get Skewed to safety. Now the pressure on Mag mounts. It's immense. It's Happy to find Hunjay. That's the Baptiste out of the picture. Fearless, he wants more. The man is hungry and won't be denied. It's MN3 chewed up, spit out, and boot off the map. Now it's Zest to fall, and the Houston Outlaws will stand strong on Blizzard World.
The Outlaws just take care of business there in map number 2. I think we've seen some good things from the Infernal. I think just sometimes their comp is like, I think right there they figured out kind of how to play against the Outlaws. We saw it a little bit from the free cam POV, but when Skewed was up on that high ground as the Sojourn, on the Illari, pretty far away, Fearless is able to just get in his face, push him so far out of the fight. And you're able to do that with 2 different supports, right? Who don't have the speed to be able to get in or the ability to kind of get out on their own. And it makes it tough.
Skewed, very dangerous, right? MN3 and Zest both having really solid games. Fearless ends up with like 11 final blows. Happy with, I think, about 14 on that Sojourn. The Sojourn's so slippery, so hard to actually complete the kills onto it. Here, this was a left, right click on, skewed in. Captive Sun flight mode.
I mean, it's crazy stuff. I mean, Skewed had himself a very good map,
yes.
I thought, on the Alar, able to take out some players at the beginning of fights, also some decent use of the ultimates. I mean, MN3 had moments. I think it's just like the comp's just not built to win some of those like longer, drawn out, fights. I mean, I thought this is the one they had the opportunity to. Ant Matrix at the start, plus the kills from MN3, and you just kind of fumbled the bag there a little bit. So.
Yeah, turns like you need a little bit more than just pure damage to win here. And MN3, was delivering as well. Mac though is disruptive. He's annoying, but he's not lethal. One final blow from the Wrecking Ball for that entire map where Fearless was absolutely going to town.
He's rolling around just like displacing people, which is obviously annoying, for the Outlaws to deal with, but then the Outlaws know that there's no help on the supports in the back line. So Surabasa will be the next map. We've seen a lot of actually New Junk City, but typically teams are trending more towards Surabasa. So seeing us go back more towards the norm here with this next pick.
Seoul Infernal, this is your last chance. The Houston Outlaws are looming large and they will not be denied. It's now or it's never.
It's fairly reasonable. Mag.
It's up the map.
Big plays.
There he goes.
rescued. Feels like this needs to be rescued, and indeed it does.
Look at how aggressive he's able to get right now. Everybody's dropping.
And it is just a field day for Zest again. Oh my god. MN3 has other plans, so MN3 has other plans though!
One last hand to play for the Seoul Infernal. And they better hope it beats the house and brings it down, because this team are looking absolutely ferocious. The Houston Outlaws stinging after a loss that sent them into this lower bracket. And turned up the heat, and this man, the protagonist, his story is far from over.
Well, I mean, if you're going to play comps that allow them to just play Fearless and let him play Winston, they are going to be extremely thrilled with that type of setup. Will the Outlaws, because he has not lost a step across the entire span of his career in terms of his play on this hero. I mean, that right click that you mentioned, that alternate fire, I think we're going to catch it here. I mean, that is just sick stuff. I mean, nobody else is hitting things like that. And when it doesn't look good for the team, right? Players drop early, Primal, able to just make a play. Feels like he's always in the right spot on that Winston. It's just really like, hey, if we have to go to some other stuff, like, can he play it at that high level against some of these other tanks now? They don't have to worry about that in this series, it looks like.
Suravasa is the pick for the Seoul Eternal here. Two teams playing very different styles. I have to say, as always, the Outlaws with a really tank-centric look. It's quite often been Fearless gets the nano from Shu, goes in with the Primal, finds multiple kills. Mag has been harrying, harassing, haranguing his opponents from the flanks, but has never really been able to put pressure on them enough that has them turn away from the rest of the fight. They had the damage in spades, the Infernal, but they could not convert. And they got one last opportunity to do so.
Well, it's what I think makes the Florida Mayhem a tough matchup for the Outlaws, is that someone can just play all of it, right? I mean, there's no subs, there's no trickery. So each and every map, guess what? Hey, this is like, Doom is really working against us. He's in the game to just make the swap to Sigma, or whatever they need. Where for the Outlaws, it's very much, it seems at least, Fearless is going to be there to play the Doom, play the Winston. If not, then we're going to sub somebody else. But then you become readable for teams that are able to have, well, not many teams have somebody like someone, but you become readable in that you can start game planning against it. I don't know if the Infernal have that. I think they're very much...
I think they're committed.
Yeah, I think they're very much committed.
And again, they come out with the Iliari Baptiste backline. They have the anti-flank measure in MN3, but it's actually not guaranteed that the Outlaws are going to want to play that way. They do have Happy, yes, but looks like he might just play with the rest of his team and look to exert pressure via those railguns at long range. Very quickly, the Outlaws respond to the threat of Zest as he steps up.
Yeah, an MN3 on the Torb, so you can play a little bit more around the Ilari. That turret can be, pretty annoying for everybody, really, to deal with on the side of the Outlaws. No healing for him there. I mean, taking damage from everybody.
Slept bioed, completely blown to smithereens. And Pelican is such a scary prospect for a Wrecking Ball. The Focusing Beam annihilates that large health pool. And now Happy can play from the rafters. He does spot Zest going for the rest of his team, but if he keeps MN3 out of line of sight, that's got to be worth it. Oh, skewed!
I was going to say, they get Mag back in the fight, but now you've lost skewed.
Violet eventually gets dragged down. Just stick. It's beautiful. Zest has found 2 kills in this fight. Will he get more? MN3 snatches that one away from him, and Seoul are still in control of the point.
And Shu used the nano there on Happy, thinking he was going to be able to keep him alive through the pulse bomb, and not able to do so with that heal on the damage rush. I mean, that is definitely one that is going to turn the tides, where the Outlaws were not even able to flip it after they get Mag down. Mag able to make it back in the fight is a good look at the start. Yeah.
I mean, Houston, they look like they were on the point itself. Zest, though, ripped into shreds. Still looking to be a threat now. Harassing. Happy's already been taken down by the turret, no less. And Zest strikes once more. Here come the Seoul Infernal, and it's about time.
Signs of life from the Seoul Infernal. So they take our first flashpoint, see if they can do it yet again, but it seems like this comp a little bit more annoying, right? Now, if you're going to go into the back line and try and make a play, you're going to pay for it, right? With that Torb there, the turret, the Alari, the Baptiste, really just kind of being able to stay alive a little bit longer from all those characters makes a world of a difference.
Straight away. Mag towards the point, still another 5 seconds before the point unlocks, but Mag still looking to be an issue. It's a bar driver occupying both backliners. A follow-up is good, skewed with the captive Sun. Stunned up though, in mid-air, he's punched by Fearless, and Pelicans easily able to finish the job. Here's the Molten Core. Fearless wants another environmental, doesn't find it, but comes straight back down, and that's a double from the Meteor Strike! That wasn't an ultimate, that was an extinction event!
I mean, he was about to find himself off the map if he does not pop that Meteor Strike, as some sick plays there by Fearless. Able to get that punch like in mid-air on the skewed, and then the follow-up from Pelican. I mean, he makes that look so routine, and that is anything but routine. I mean, crazy stuff there by Fearless. Gets the Outlaws this next point.
25 and counting already here for Houston. Convincing first fight. They're contending with a pulse bomb here, and Zesty is on the hunt. Pressure and Violet's shield down. Gonna be crucial. Happy steps up now. Zest able to blink away. Mag to the rescue for a moment, and Happy's down to less than half HP. This is scary. He slides away, but Zest is there. The stick is wide. Happy's kept alive for the time being now, and Fearless is on the scene again. It's Hyunjae who gets absolutely rolled, and Fearless is in danger here. He can't finish off MN3, who's able to get healed back up, but not for long.
Yeah, it's 75% now and counting, where it looks pretty good for the Outlaws to take this next point. Also, when was the last time you saw a Flashpoint game with no Lucio on either side?
Very
right? I mean, this is one where you're going to see these points go in like 2 fights, because there's no speed to get everybody back in.
Mag swings back, he still has a chance to touch here. Overtime is getting a little bit slammed, and he can't get there. Oh my! Wish he had that one back.
Yeah, I mean, you only have like really one player right in the position. I mean, obviously Zest can test, but Mag the only one around. He gets punched off. Nothing you can do about it.
Looked like such a convincing start for Seoul, but the momentum has shifted through this second flashpoint. Can never land where he wants to, constantly being punched, slept, knocked around. He can't commit to Happy. That's an overclock coming his way, and Happy threads the needle. Mag is nothing but spare parts. Oh, what was that?
Dude, Happy is so much fun to watch. Like, Happy and Shy, right? Like, they kind of like, they have these moments where the rest of the team is so explosive and pop off, and then they just have these moments where he just pops overclock, just runs in there, just kills everybody, and you're like, oh, that guy.
He's 180 bangerang that for. Unreal.
I mean, he's been doing that for years at this point. I mean, think about like Happy on like heroes like Hanzo over the last few seasons. I mean, and then once you get overclock and you're consistently building up those rails, I mean, those are the types of plays you expect to see.
Nothing short of astonishing as Happy again delivers. Skewed wants to set up the healing pile on the periphery here and likely just wants to soften up the Outlaws. Here's the dupe. Pelican gonna be Torb as he sets the turret on the high ground, and instantly. That's riveting stuff, Pelican. Keep it coming, my friend.
Not even gonna get the
yes.
Didn't even look like a DPI, so you see that right hand, the wheel movement.
We say paint the town red for someone who's having a good time. I don't know what we call that. Forget about it. Let's move on. Zest getting dove on now. Pelican back in Echo form. And already is. It's 2 flashpoints to 1. Has the Infernal again pull up short on the recontest, and Pelican is not impressed.
No, it's well, I mean, Mag is the only one who gets back, and he just rolls on in, and then he either dies or rolls on out. And now you have MN3 on the 76, so 76 obviously has some personal mobility, able to take more off angles. I think this gives them a little bit of a different look, right? You're not going to be able to kind of have that turret and play a little bit slow around these supports, but you can create some off angles and make it difficult for Fearless to decide which target to prioritize.
Here it is, Matt. The Seoul Infernal have to win every flashpoint and then every map from here on out to stay alive in our playoffs. We have our fourth flashpoint set up in Garden here, and the Infernal are the first to the scene, but the Outlaws waste no time, and the Infernal are a little split right now. They've already had using Immortality Field, and Skew is in deep trouble. He's hit with a Biotic Grenade, and he gets flattened. MN3, though, with 2, find a Helix Rocket connection on Happy. Fearless now realizes the rest of his team are absent, and he might have to follow. The legs get MN3 out of trouble. He was slowed up briefly, but Fearless does not have the health pool, and that is a healing pylon in play.
Yeah, some big kills early on. But the Seoul Infernal, MN3 with a nice Helix Kunje setting up that Amp Matrix, right? As everybody's trying to come through. And the Outlaws, like, you know, the Amp Matrix comes down and they're like, well, we don't care. Let's nano Fearless and just send him, like, spear on in through it. Fearless, the only one to live on through all of that, where the Infernals are pretty lucky as well, because this is not a great point for Wrecking Ball.
Happy at risk of being burned to a crisp. They've got to keep him topped eventually. MN3 brings him down. Zest is being unattended right now on the back line as Shu desperately trying to focus his tank, keep Fearless in the fight, but now Violet's going to be under intense scrutiny. Zest runs rings around him, and that's a backline down to the Tracer.
So you really get 2 fights, right, without the extra speed in the mix. So it'll be the Seoul Infernal taking us to just 1 flashpoint to decide this map.
They bring it back.
Trying to keep themselves in it. Oh, pile drive set up here. Pile drive pulse bomb.
That could be huge. Popping someone up, making him an easy target could be massive, but Mag is slept instantly. The Bionade as well. He just has to run. Zest still waiting with this pulse, but he spots Shu, and he sticks it! He's not getting out of that one in one piece at all. Violet goes for the rally here, but who's going to benefit from it at this rate? He's low. Eventually, MN3 rolls on through and picks him up. What a time to come alive for the Seoul Infernal.
Yeah, they'll win this fight. They'll get control of the point first. So nice pile driver even through the sleep and the bio, able to live. It's a nice pulse bomb, though, there from Zest. Takes out Shu. Pelican now goes over and plays the Sombra. So going to move off of the Echo, looking to probably try and fund some of these hacks, right? Probably on the Mag. You're looking at, you've been able to punish Mag with some sleeps, but not able to finish him off.
You don't have a true answer to the MN3 flank anymore. Sombra probably not it. Minefield here looking for Happy. He's having to step away. Nobody's more than happy to stand and fight. The hack on Mag. This is dangerous. Fearless also punishing him here. This should be the Outlaws. Able to move back in.
Yeah, I mean, you lost Kunje in MN3 as we're going to have a brief Moira switch. It would look like maybe they'll just make it back, but it seems like they're going to concede. So not going to make that switch on back as you lose Skewed here towards the end. So this is going to allow the Outlaws to build up some more, but it was, I believe that was actually Shu at the start who was actually able to take out MN3, be able to pick up that kill. You know, Ana versus Soldier, where now they actually have the Orisa in play. So it seems like now that when they see the Sombra on one side, they go straight to the Orisa to be able to live.
Zest doesn't quite get what he came for there. Hyunjae hacked up. This dive with the Sombra looking effective now. Where is Mag in all of this? Ignored, not in position.
No, it looked like Mag was like kind of like wrapping around and maybe go through like the arches in the middle, and then they just get the nano.
Stagger.
They get the nano on the Fearless, and they just send him on a stagger. Would be horrible.
This is
here.
it. Seoul Infernal now have one chance, and it's got to be here.
EMP, you're totally okay allowing to give up space here if you're the Outlaws. Get this EMP off, probably EMP bio, and then into Fearless.
Hyunjae! Scoot! They're all down! The last time you'll hear their names this weekend. The Outlaws move back in here, and we're into overtime. Who could touch it? It'll be Zest, the only player. He gets there for a moment. There's a Lucio on the way. Hyunjae wants to keep his team in this one desperately. He's hacked on the way through. Zest punched away. Overtime kept going for just a little longer, but it's just the dregs of the Seoul Infernal. Nothing but passion that keeps them running here. Mag trundling through the doorway. It's going to be Skewed as well. And then 3 is brought down by Happy. Go back away. Mag with a terror surge now. Sucks him on in. Shu gets out. Bionade on himself just so he can escape. The spear doesn't quite connect, and Violet brings him down. The Outlaws don't just ride with the wind. Some say it's destiny that sends them forward.
And they looked very good today. I think that is a scary team for anybody to see as this tournament moves on, where the Infernal, obviously with a very strong season, but ends here at the hands of the Outlaws.
And for Houston, it's a return to the very things that made them great. Winston, bit of Sombra mixed in here, and a heck of a lot of hit-scan pressure from Happy. What a game he was able to have, getting Shu on the Ana. Very, very hard to answer. Violet doing whatever he pleases. Keeping the hopes of the West alive here. The Seoul Infernal have been eliminated.
And for Seoul, I mean, obviously just kind of playing their game, playing dive, playing aggressive. That kind of fits into exactly what the Outlaws want to do. After map 1, we saw Bernard. Bernard looks quite good, but they bring back in Fearless, and he turned up.
Having an option that can be game ready, wins the first map, getting subbed in and then brought out, and it's a seamless transition into bringing Fearless back into the lineup. Let's talk about your player of the match here for the Houston Outlaws, someone who always leads from the front and definitely ain't afraid of nothing. It's going to be Fearless. You're trying to find an AMD player of the match. And he really put those Winston mechanics on full display.
Yeah, you know, after map 1, once it was clear that, like, hey, they want to play fast, like, they're willing to challenge this, they brought back in Fearless, and you get 2 really good maps from him, right? Blizzard World is fantastic for Winston-based kind of compositions, and then same with Surabasa, but he comes out and plays the Doom. I mean, he had some nuts plays on the Doom on this map.
It's all Infernal, like their composition, right, it's very powerful. You know, it definitely has significant power spikes, but it all really comes on securing these kills, and you are going up against one of the most airtight backlines. I mean, you know, Violet and Shu being able to put Fearless in a position to succeed time after time, even in the most risky situations. 5 deaths, 5 on Surabasa. And he was not playing scared at all. He was very much involved in these fights. Incredible showing from the Outlaws, and many said, Houston coming into these playoffs, we're lost. Bringing in Bernard. Maybe tipped the hand. People thought, are they looking to completely replace Fearless here? It looks like they found their feet, or maybe they never lost them at all.
And you never really truly know where the meta is going to end up going into these types of tournaments, right? You have an idea from scrims, but then once actually people start playing on stage, things change. So could have been maybe, hey, like, we're not performing well, we think the meta is going one way, now people are playing more, things change, and you get back to what you're used to with the Outlaws.
And I'm going to give the Outlaws a chance to set the narrative, at least have some impact on it. Let's head down to the stage with your boy Danny in a post-match interview.
Mr. Matt, thank you very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Houston Outlaws' very own Fearless, the player of the match. Fantastic job today. I want to start off this interview by asking you, about a little bit about yesterday. You guys unfortunately lost to the Florida Mayhem, but you guys came back strong today against Seoul Infernal. So what sort of improvements, what changes did you guys make in order to secure that win today? 자, 어제 아쉽게 플로리다전에서 패배를 한 이후에 오늘 또 굉장히 다른 모습으로 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데 어제 패배 이후로 좀 오늘 승리를 확정하기 위해서 좀 어떤 노력을 하셨나요?
일단 어제는 저희가 좀 못해가지고 그냥 손을 풀었다고 생각하고 자 오늘부터 뒤는 없다라는 생각으로 그냥 열심히 해보자 더 열심히 해보자 그냥 이런 마인드로 게임을 했습니다.
Yesterday, I think it was pretty clear. We were playing, to be really honest, we were playing really bad. So we wanted to consider that as just a warm-up, and now we have our backs against the wall too. And so we just really wanted to give it our all, try our best, and I think that was the key to the victory today for us to get the win. Now, looking forward, tomorrow, I think you guys will be facing off against either a rematch against Florida Mayhem or the Dallas Fuel. You guys, you played with the Dallas Fuel last season, so I want to hear your thoughts. Who would you rather play for your next match? Would you rather go up against Dallas Fuel or the Florida Mayhem again? 자, 좀 더 이제 미래를 내일을 한번 보자면 이제 경기가 플로리다랑 다시 재경기를 할 수 있던지 아니면은 달라스와의 경기가 될 수도 있는데 필라스 선수는 둘 중에 하나를 고르자면 좀 어떤 팀과 경기를 치르시고 싶으신가요?
저는 사실 플로리다 메임이랑 다시 붙어도 상관없고 근데 댈러스는 이제 저의 전 팀이었기 때문에 댈러스랑 한번 좀 더 붙어보고 싶긴 합니다.
Alright, it really doesn't matter. I think, I sort of want to go up against Florida Mayhem again, but I would rather choose Dallas Fuel because they are my former teammates, so I really sort of want to go up against them. You did say Dallas Fuel, and you also mentioned that they were your former teammates. Do you have anything you want to say to the Dallas Fuel right now to Dallas Fuel in front of the camera. 자, 방금 웬만하면 달라스 팀과 그래도 한번 이제 경기를 치르고 싶다라고 말씀하셨는데, 그럼 전 팀원이었던 달라스 팀에게 좀 한마디를 할 수 있다면 좀 어떤 메시지를 말씀하시고 싶으신가요?
기왕이면 이번에 이기고 그냥 위에서 기다리고 있으면 좋겠는데 만약에 지면은 이제 각오를 좀 해야 될 것 같아요. 저희를 만날 각오를.
All right, Fearless says that, you know, it might be better for you guys to get the win and wait for us in the future, you know, just higher up for like the finals or semifinals. But if you guys lose today, you guys better be ready for the Houston Outlaws. All right, everybody give it up for Fearless one more time. Thank you guys so much. That is all I got here. Let's send things over to GB.
Thank you so much there, Danny, and of course, Fearless, and a huge shout out to the Houston Outlaws picking up the win. But I have a special guest here joining us today. You may know her from Calling All Heroes, Overwatch World Cup, all the goodness, an Overwatch caster through and through. Give it up for CB in the house here in Toronto. CB, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. And first and foremost, you know, let's talk about this competition. How wild it has been. What do you make of what we've been seeing so far here in Toronto?
I mean, it's been incredible top to bottom. I'm all in on the Outlaws and getting to see them 3-0 right there. I want to see them go up against the Mayhem again. I want to see that one.
What do you think of London?
Oh, what a surprise. Well, I mean, London's good. London's great. But seeing them 3-0 Atlanta Reign, the potential favorites, gone, like insane.
I think all of us felt collectively the same way as well. Now, you know, there's so much going on in the world of Overwatch here, but you obviously doing a lot in Calling All Heroes as well. Want to talk about that and like the positive, uplifting message that it brings to the table, especially in esports when we desperately need it, you know?
Yeah, there's a ton of talent there, both players and broadcast talent, and you know, just everything, top to bottom, that hasn't really been given a chance to shine before, but now they have a place to cultivate, and it rules. It's so good. You got to come out and support Calling All Heroes. The talent there is insane.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think we all can agree on that one too. Got to give some love to our community, Calling All Heroes as well. But where can people find you next?
I mean, obviously, keep an eye on the Calling All Heroes scene. You might see me pop up there from time to time.
All right, look at that. CB in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time, CB. Always appreciate it. And we're going to send it back over to the desk to break down what we just saw.
Thank you so much, GB, and to the lovely CB. Can't wait to see more of her and everyone who is joining Calling All Heroes action throughout the year. It's been phenomenal to watch them progress and follow that scene, but also it's been phenomenal to watch what just happened on that stage, which was a bit of a murder, let's be real. Houston Outlaws' dominant performance on day number 2. That's exactly what we wanted to see from that roster. So let's talk about how they got it done. Starting off, we obviously saw some changes in the lineup right in front of it.
Yeah, Bernard coming in here for the Houston Outlaws, showing that off-tank look that we were excited to see here in the playoffs. Obviously a new pickup. Bernard actually wasn't part of the Houston Outlaws in the regular season, but coming out here, showing some Doomfist, but also the Diva, showing the Sigma, and this is a look now that the Houston Outlaws can lean on. But the big story for the match, I think, really was Fearless coming in on map 2 and map 3 with a vengeance here, Jake, and really handing it to the Seoul Infernal in a very dominant fashion.
Yeah, I think Happy was a huge performer as well. That was really vintage Happy for me. He had a great performance all series long, whether it was the Widow on map 1, the Sojourn, or whether he's a diver. He really has it all. So his flexibility, I think, really giving a lot of value to the Outlaws. I think that we would be remiss not to congratulate the Infernal on a great season overall. And I think in the end here, they found the comp that gives them the best shot. Like maybe this wasn't the right comp in the meta in the end with the ball and double flex support, but they played it well. They made it close. I think MN3 and Zest had highlight performances and they played to their strengths in the end. I think you can't blame them for that in an open meta like this. Just too hard to beat these now.
And also Fixa not being here is very unfortunate. Of course, Fixa was a big part of the regular season for the Seoul Infernal, but had to sit out because of injury. You know, had Fixa been here, maybe would have seen a better performance with Seoul Infernal, because obviously he has more experience with the team in that main support role, right? So Seoul Infernal, I feel like they gave us the Wrecking Ball, they showed us some Torbjorn, something we hadn't really seen so far in the playoffs. So it was nice to see these heroes come out, and you know, Zest had some insane pulse bombs, you know, even pulse bombing a Tracer. These are very difficult things to do, right? So some good moments from the Seoul Infernal, but Houston Outlaws, I mean, they're a favorite to win the entire thing alongside For the Mayhem and those type of teams. So it was a bit of a gap there.
Yeah, I mean, they're not walking away empty-handed. Seoul Infernal got themselves 3 Roll Star nominations.
Four.
for this
Four.
year.
Four.
Four, actually,
Back.
4, excuse me. Yeah, so that's incredible.
It's incredible, and also I'm a bit sad, to be honest, that Infernal is going out this way because I was secretly rooting for them just by the fact that, you know, like you mentioned, like I don't think we're gonna see any more Wrecking Ball and Tor.
Probably not. No.
I don't think so. And they had a really good run throughout the whole season. But at the end of the day, it's always the better team that gets to win and gets to move forward, right?
Absolutely. Now, if we're looking once again at the Houston Outlaws, though, as they will be the team moving forward. You touched on it just a little bit. Map number 1, we saw their absolute newest addition, just a week old, freshly minted out of the package, coming into play. Bernard, do you think this is a look we're going to see more of from the Houston Outlaws moving forward?
I think it is something we could see more of as the playoffs develop. Because remember, this is a pretty new meta, so things aren't necessarily set in stone. The look we saw from the Florida Mayhem yesterday when they brought out the Sigma with the Baptiste and the Brigitte, that is a really strong composition. And I don't really agree with the public kind of opinion that Fearless had to swap off the Doomfist. It's really hard to find the perfect hero to deal with the Sigma. So maybe Bernard here showing the Sigma against the Seoul Infernal. Maybe this is Houston Outlaws also recognizing that, hey, this is a hero that we need to be able to play to match the Florida Mayhem. If we want to win the championship, not necessarily to beat the Seoul Infernal, but if we want to make a deep run in this tournament, Jake, we might need Bernard in this lineup.
I think there's going to be maps where, you know, Fearless is going to be able to dominate, where the dive is going to take the lead. But I think you're absolutely right, Johnny. I think Sigma is a crucial hero in this meta with how strong Bastion is. There's very few tanks that interact really well with Bastion. And I actually see this online all the time. People talk, what do I do when they bring out the Bastion and the Reaper? Go Sigma, guys. This hero is really the counter to those playstyles. And being able to leverage both the Bastion and the Sigma in one comp as the Florida Mayhem do, for me, that's the scariest comp I've seen so far. Yes, maybe the Rhine Rush can beat it, but there's a lot of comps. The Doomfist, the Zarya, it looks really hard against that Sigma, and I think Houston are wise to start preparing for future options in the meta. I don't think they want to be limited to a dive.
Man, I'm so in love with these playoffs. We get to see compositional chess being played by those teams, and that makes all those matchups so very exciting. Let's take a look at the bracket to see where we're currently standing, as we once more had to say goodbye to yet another team. Seoul Infernal, unfortunately, is out after a phenomenal season on their part. The Houston Outlaws now sitting there waiting for their next opponent. Will it be the Florida Mayhem or the Dallas Fuel? We will be finding out very soon, but for now, we are gonna head over and play some more games in the winners bracket, because now we not get to send teams home, but we get to send them off to the semis, which is really exciting. And the first 2 teams who get a shot at that direct ticket are gonna be the Boston Uprising and the Hangzhou Spark. And we will be talking about that matchup right after this break.